Hello everyone and welcome to this ranking video looking at the June announcements from NG models. Now this set is another sizable set, 36 models in all if you include the Ultimate Collection versions, and it really is very much the tale of two reg prefixes. They are B and N. If you do not like Chinese or American aircraft, then you are probably going to be severely disappointed by this set, because there isn't a great deal of content here that does not feature a B reg or an N reg. There's a little bit, but not a lot. And it does feel sometimes like NG is slightly trolling European collectors, because there's very little here which is going to interest anyone from Europe. However, being a big collector of Chinese and also American regs, I'm quite pleased with this set, but I can understand entirely why some aren't, and it's not particularly diverse at all. It is also completely lacking classics, or almost completely lacking classics. But it is actually quite an interesting set once you look past that initial B and N aspect to it. So, as per usual, in this video, going to be checking that out and ranking these releases. And as per usual with NG, that means I don't really have to rank the molds too much because they're all pretty damn good. It's more about the content of the liveries and whether they've been made before and whether their previous versions are any good or not. Now, before we get to that, obviously, as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please do so and chuck a like on the video if you enjoy it. Check me out at Yesterday Airlines on Instagram, Facebook, and obviously yesterdaysairlines.com. Plenty of content there. Now, the other big NG story has been NG Lite recently, and I've already done a video about that, which has done very well. And they have or will be sending me that 747, and I'll have a look at that NG Lite 747 at the site coming soon. But if you haven't seen that, check out that video and find out what NG Lite is about, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. So let's get on and see what June is going to give us from NG. Okay, so just quickly before I start, I'd be really interested to know if there are many Chinese reg collectors that listen to my channels. I obviously collect B reg models, and I'd be interested to know if there are many others. I kind of assume there aren't, because a lot of my viewers come from America or Europe, but it will be good to know if there are people out there who are really interested in these Chinese airlines, as interested as I am. Otherwise, I will probably kind of slightly skip past them to a degree, because I'm not expecting that you'll be overly interested in them. But there are lots, so we've got to get through this video reasonably quick anyway. Now, I'll start off with the Airbuses as we usually do, and there are only two A320 family aircraft this month, both of which A321-200s, both of which fly for China Southern, and both of which exhibit colourful special schemes. NG loves a special scheme, and these two are really, really nice special schemes. First off, we've got B1625, which has got a China International Consumer Products Expo scheme on it, which is a really, really attractive scheme. The sort of lovely special scheme that China does so well, and is one of the reasons I like collecting Chinese airliners. Now, this model was released by HYJ Airwings, and it sold out in like a flash. And I couldn't even get myself a copy, so I'm super pleased to be seeing it turning up from NG. The second model is B1832. This one has also a very nice special scheme for the Hainan Island International Film Festival. Both of these are really attractive models and ones that I'm really, really keen to get hold of. So I'm going to put both these up into Supersonic. I think these are going to be really spectacular. Moving into the Airbus wide bodies, and we've got a few A330s this month, a couple of which are Star Alliance Series 200s. The first one is TAP Air Portugal CST-OH, and the other one is an Egypt Air SUGCK. Now, what is interesting about these models is they've actually both been made before, more than I thought that they had. They were made by Aero Classics, and they were also made by Phoenix back, presumably, when these schemes came out, which was quite a while ago now. The and JC Wings made the Egypt Air version. And so it's 2013 that Aero Classics made their attempt on these. And it was a little bit earlier, I think, that JC made theirs, 2011, for their Egypt Air version, and probably it was roughly around the same sort of time period for the TAP ones, I think, too. Now, those are obviously on older molds. The Aero Classics ones still stand up really well today. And these are some of the very few non-Chinese or American releases this month. But they are in Starlines and they're not in the standard schemes. Having said that, NG has made an Egypt Air Cargo Series 200 before, and has obviously also made several TAPs. So it's not actually like they haven't done the standard schemes. These are airlines that have featured for NG previously with A330-200s. I'm going to both of these up into high flyer, I think. They have been made before, probably due for an upgrade, but not enormously exciting from my perspective. The third A330-200 is in the colours of Qantas Freight. This one's got the proper big Qantas Freight titles on it in the modern Qantas scheme. VHEBE. NG already made VHEBF, but that one had Australia Post titles, not Qantas Freight. So if you're an Aussie collector, I imagine this one will be pretty popular for you. Again, it's going to be nice. It doesn't enormously excite me. It's so much that I'm going to put in Supersonic. It is broadly similar to the one that was made before, just different titles. I'm going to put this one into High Fly as well. There's only one Series 300 this month, and that's Chinese. It's China Southern. It's B8870. It's got the Guangdong Lychee scheme on it, which is another really attractive special scheme. I already own the Panda Models version of this, and that is a spectacularly good model. It's also been made by Phoenix and Aviation 400. So this one is hardly unique. It's the fourth version of this aircraft and livery combination. So I'm going to put this one into Workhorse. Sure, it'll be lovely, but it probably won't be any better than the Panda one I own, which is a really, really impressive release. Now, there's one Beluga XL this month, and it's NG are finding, or keep on finding, new variants of the Beluga XL scheme. This is their 9th Beluga XL, and they've made numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they've made one which didn't have a number on it. They've made, in fact, they've made two which didn't have a number on it, and now this one is number 1. So FGX Lima Golf is the reg. The scheme is effectively the same as all the others, except for the one which wasn't painted. Yeah, they don't excite me. I wonder if anyone is collecting all of these. Probably someone out there, but otherwise, yeah, I can understand they've been released. It's good use in the mold, but it's not exciting. I'm looking at a Workhorse for that one. NG have only recently started putting out A330 Neos, and there's a couple this month, but both for the same airline, Kuwait Airways. NG still are, and this release set is showing again, still are putting out mobile versions of the same release in the same month, which is a curious release strategy. This month here we've got two Q80 A330-800s, 9K AP Hotel and AP India. Otherwise they look both the same. Yeah, they're not unique, actually, because there has been a reasonable number of Neo releases previously from Phoenix and JC, both of whom have made this. And I have to say that looking at it, the JC Wings version, which was APF, looks pretty good. So this one, not unique, got some strong competition. You probably already own one if you wanted a Q80 Neo, to be honest. I'll put one of these up in the High Flyer and the other one into a Workhorse. Now, we didn't get away from China for very long because the rest of the Airbuses are all Chinese. We've got A350-900s. These come in two variants each, Ultimate Collection and Standard, so they're really just two models but with different packaging. First up is Sichuan Airlines B301D. This is one of the Panda Route colours. I think it's the first Panda Route colours scheme that they did. I've actually got the Aviation 400 version of this. It's also been made by JC Wings. The old AV400 version is actually really good. Their early A350s are arguably better than their later ones, and this one was a really nice model. So I don't see the need to get this one, but again, it's it's a perfectly good release. Hasn't released that recently. I'll put one of these into High Flyer, another one into Workhorse, and similarly for the other aircraft, which is China Southern, we've got a pair of A350-900s. I think they've got different regs actually here, where the Ultimate Collection's got B30CE and the other one is B30EA. Doesn't really make any difference as far as I'm aware to the look of the aircraft. There haven't been that many China Southern A350s, not as many as you might think. Again, I've got an earlier version by AV400. This one will have the updated winglets on it because NG have updated the mould, so that's positive. Again, I'll put that in High Flyer, one of them, and Workhorse, one of those. So that quickly gets us through the Airbuses. It's a pretty reasonable bunch if you're interested in Chinese Airbuses. Otherwise, yeah, it's not that exciting. We've got some decent efforts, TAP, Egypt Air, Qantas Freight, Q8, but nothing that's really outstanding, I would say there. But they'd be good models, and I think they deserve some high flyers. Moving into the Boeings, and again, it's a similar pattern. You've got a lot of Chinese here, and some American as well, with a smattering of other releases. And in fact, we start with something which is not from China or the States, and this one unfortunately isn't very interesting. It's an Argentinian Air Force 737, I guess it's a BBJ probably. T99 is the registration. It's a really boring military kind of scheme. It's not doing anything for me at all. Just not really interested in a lot of these military releases, and this one is especially not interesting. So from my perspective, this is very much a workhorse model, just because it's kind of ugly and boring. Now we get into a whole tranche of Chinese 737s, one Series 700 and the rest are 800s. China United, another China United, I think we'll be seeing these regularly, and this one's in the new scheme, a Series 700. I think I said last month, I don't like the new scheme very much, but it is a new scheme and it's one I will have to buy. It's not horrible, and there haven't been a lot of China United 73Gs anyway, certainly none in this livery. I'm going to put this one up into High Flyer. Then we've got, again, paired releases. We've got two Hainan Airlines 737-800s, B5083 and B5089. These are both in the same scheme, and they both don't have winglet. I don't see any other differences between them. Actually, bizarrely, even though there have been over 20 Hainan 737-800s made, there has never been any in this scheme without winglets. So that's actually makes these unique. I will almost certainly get one of these as well. I'll put one in High Fly again and one in the Workhorse. Next up, we've got another Hainan partner airline. This one, it's Grand China Air. It's got exactly the same scheme as Hainan, just with different titles. And we've got two aircraft again. Both look the same to me, just different regs. We've got B5538 and B5539. I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did for the Hainans. One in the High Flyer, one in the Workhorse. Probably should be getting one of these myself too. Then we've got two Hainan 738s wearing special schemes, and the first one is a really nice special scheme. It's the Hainan Free Trade Port livery, which is also on a 787. This one's B6063. Really like this scheme. Really think this will be a lovely model. Definitely going to get this one. This one's going up into Supersonic. The other one is not as exciting in my opinion. This one is for T-Mall. It's called Never's Family. I don't know what that is. It looks like a lot of cartoon characters on the aircraft. It's not a particularly good special scheme, just kind of like stuff plastered over the standard Hainan scheme. It's not as exciting. I'll still want to put it in High Flyer because it's Chinese and it's a special scheme and I haven't got it, but it's not doing it that much for me. I might not even get that one. I'm not sure. That takes us into Max territory, and we've got a couple of house colours Max 7s up next, which is nice. We've got N7201 Sierra and N7202 Uniform. Both the schemes are the same, so again, we've just got duplicate releases here. I'll probably gig in one of these, and they do look like they'll be super nice. So I'm going to put one up in the Supersonic. It is a prototype, and I do get house colours, and it is unique. And I'll put the other one down in Workhorse because it's duplicate. And we finish off our 737s with a couple of Max 8s, and they're from, guess where? China. Xiamen Airlines, we've got a couple here. We've got B208 Lima wearing the standard scheme, and we've got B1136 wearing the 2000th Boeing Aircraft for China sticker on the front, which is quite a small sticker, but it is noticeable. Now, there have been standard scheme Xiamen Airline Maxes before, and there have been releases of B1136 as well, so neither of these are unique. I've got the standard scheme. I've got a Panda version, which is really rather good. There are also JC Wings versions floating around. I didn't get the 2000s one, and I am tempted to get one of these ones. Again, I don't want to overthink this. I'm going to put one of these up into High Flyer, probably that 2000s version, and I'll put the other one into Workhorse. Okay, and that brings us to the very first releases of NG's new 767 series molds. So gradually NG have been releasing their new molds month by month. It's a shame there aren't any MD8s this month, which were obviously released and got very good reviews from everyone pretty much last month. But this month we've got the first 767s. I can't say that the subject matter astounds me, but I imagine it will please a lot of people. The first one up does, and is quite cool, and that's a classic American Airlines Series 200 N313AA with the luxury liner titles on the front. This one should be really, really good. Aero Classics actually did make a 767-200 not long ago, and I'm glad I didn't get that. I've still got the old Gemini version, which is a damn good little model actually, but this one I'm really keen to get, and I will almost certainly review at the site when it shows up. Definitely going to put this one up into Supersonic. The two Series 300s this month are both Delta N174DN, wearing the Pratt & Whitney engines, and N173 Delta Zulu with the CF6s. They're both in the current scheme. They both have winglets. There have been lots, and I mean lots, of Delta 767s with the winglets, because Gemini obviously releases, this is Gemini bread and butter territory. This is the sort of thing that's going to make Gemini's blood boil. That does please me a little bit, but at the same time, the Gemini versions aren't bad. They look pretty good, and there are lots of them. So it's not the most exciting release that NG could have put out, but it is no doubt going to be a solid money maker. I'll put both these up into High Flyer, I think. And the first Series 400 release from NG is again not as exciting as maybe it could be. It's N77066, a United Airlines aircraft in the current Blue Evo scheme. It's almost the same as the aircraft that was just released by Panda Models on their excellent mold. So again, you've got two effectively same releases coming out. All these new 767-400s, and no one's releasing Continental, which is probably about the only one that I'd really be keen to get. So that's a little annoying, but I'm sure they'll come eventually. So this one again, there have been previous versions. It doesn't excite me that much. I'll put it into High Flyer. I'm sure it'll sell well. Okay, now we've got a series of 777-300s. And again, NG bunching releases together in a way which doesn't seem to make a lot of financial sense, because I don't know why. If you're a Dutch collector, it's unlikely you're going to buy all three of these in the same month. You probably would struggle to afford it for starters. But you've got three versions of PHBVA here wearing the orange Pride scheme. You've got the original colours. We've got the one with the 100th anniversary sticker, and we've got the updated one, which has got more Dutch flag striping on it. Now, there have been a lot of these recently from other brands. Gemini has been releasing them, Aviation 400, and Phoenix have all released the updated colours, and historically they've all pretty much released the other versions as well. So these are hardly unique, and there's a lot of competition. It does slightly call into question why NG feels the need to release them all, I have to say. Again, I'm sure they'll be great. But there is a lot of competition, which isn't bad, already out there. I'll put them into High Flyer, but they're not thrilling me. Again, I question really NG's release strategy here. They're releasing models that have been made sometimes quite recently by others and well, and at the same time they're putting out model versions in the same month, which does seem to likely to impact their sales. Don't really understand that. And similarly, the next one is another oddity of their release strategy, because they just love special schemes. It's a Korean Air 777ER, HL7204. It's wearing this black-pink special scheme. It's a bit of a naff special scheme. It's really hard to do special schemes well on Korean livery, and this one is ugly. And are Blackpink some kind of band? They probably are. Don't care. Really, K-pop rubbish. And yeah, it's not doing anything for me. And odd that they haven't made a standard scheme aircraft. Also, this version has been made by Phoenix, by the look of things, not too long ago. There are lots of Korean Air 777s. Doesn't interest me. This one, don't like the livery either. They'd have done better producing a standard scheme version. And this one comes in Ultimate Collection as well. I'm just going to put both of these into Workhorse, but to be honest, this one's not far away from gas guzzling. Just really ugly special scheme, to be honest. And the last model of the month, back to China. It seems fitting to end on a Chinese aircraft, and it's Hainan Airlines, a 7879 B1499, wearing this IHG Hotel and Resorts scheme, which is actually, again, China can do special schemes. It's a really nice inversion on the standard Hainan scheme. It's only been announced by JC Wings, and this one looks like it will be really nice. Again, I think this is one that I definitely will be getting, and one that I personally feel merits being supersonic. So, yeah, some really interesting and good Chinese models in this group. Some nice Americans, and some reasonably ordinary models making up the rest of the world element. So it's a good set of releases, and because I collect Chinese and American, there's actually a lot of models here that I want to own, but at the same time, a lot of them don't excite me that much. I probably will get multiple of those Chinese 737-800s, for example, but none of them are particularly exciting, except perhaps the free trade port one. And that kind of sums up NG's releases for me in recent time. There have been plenty of models I want to buy, but at the same time, I'm not jumping up and down here. And obviously, it would be better and more sensible if they released a broader range of models. And if they're going to release 34 in a month, then you can almost cut this release set in half if you exclude the duplicate models. I just don't know why they don't push those on for 3 or 4 months down the road in the way that JC Wings do. Yeah, it's curious. It's curious, but I wonder whether the next month, July, will bring the change which I have been led to believe is going to happen in terms of their releases, and see a wider selection on the new molds, and perhaps some of this classic stuff. I don't know, actually, and I'm really on the fence as to whether it's all going to happen and there's going to be differences, or whether it's all bollocks and it's not actually going to happen and it's a mistranslation or whatever. So, be interested to see what happens in the next few months with NG. For me, this is a really solid set, and there's a lot of models here I want to get. But as I say, I'm not desperate for a lot of them either. What do you guys think? Interesting to hear, as always. And yeah, if you are a Chinese collector, please, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear if there are other Chinese collectors who listen to my stuff. But that's it from now. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.